Hey, if you ever wanted to watch me play these games live, check out twitch.tv/IndieCriticShow. It's like YouTube, but live! Thanks a lot, guys. The first treat launched yesterday, September 14th, 2017, by one man, David Well, with some musical help from Josh Kramer. Now, I've been following David for quite a while, lurking in the shadows, really enjoying his art. To be honest, I enjoy all art styles like this. I love Firewatch, I love The Long Dark, I love Kona, you get the point. If it looks like this, I buy it. So to start with this art, look at this shot. Tell me one thing that's wrong about it. You can't. It's beautiful.
There's so many just great thumbnail opportunities in this game. Like, the whole game is just a giant thumbnail.
Every single frame and every single step felt as if I was slowly wading into a painting. The way the grass sways in the wind, the way the leaves blow up from the ground. It had me mesmerized. I couldn't stop playing until I was done the game. Speaking about playing the game until I was done, the length is only 2 hours long. But don't let that stop you from buying the game. It's $8 Canadian. That's $6.50 USD. It's literally like $8 or $9 cheaper than a movie ticket for around the same time frame. So after justifying the price, let's talk about what the first tree is. Well, the first tree is an interactive story. It tells the tale of a son and his father, while you play as a fox, trying to find her 3 children. There are locations around the world littered with items to dig up. These items prompt the narrator to start telling more about his father, and the significance this item holds to him.
Do you remember what my dad did for a living?
Wasn't he like a lumberjack?
That's one way of putting it. If wood was a canvas, then a carving knife was his paintbrush. Even after working a 50-hour week, even after his hands were more splinters than skin, he would bring home the nicest piece of Alaskan weeping cedar and make me toys. That wooden train was the first toy I can remember, and I loved it. I just knew from a young age I was going to be a lumberjack, like my father.
There are also these glowing little stars littered all around the map. Now, you don't really need them, but the more you can get, the better. The voice acting is usually a point of contention that I have with most indie games. It's usually a contest between who's cheapest, and not really who has the best voice for the character. In this game, I'm kind of on the fence about the main character. It seems a little bit forced in some parts, almost as if he's unconsciously raising his voice a few octaves. I would know this because I do it a lot when I'm trying to record. The lady's voice was pretty spot on. I couldn't actually find anything to nitpick about. And her voice is actually so good that I would really enjoy seeing her in more games. Now, the story was pretty good in this game, but there was this one section that I didn't really like. Now, I don't really want to spoil you guys on this, but there was this one section where you were just hit by a brick wall of information. One that wasn't really set up at all. It was emotionally destroying. It wasn't really emotionally destroying in the good way. It was more of like, I don't know at all or have any information on why this is happening, and it doesn't make any sense. It felt as if I literally missed like a part of the game. By the way, the music in this game was fantastic. I haven't heard tracks as good in a game in such a long time. I actually really want to purchase the soundtrack, but it's not available on Steam. I'd love to see it there, though. Well, how did the ending of this game go? Well, it was actually pretty damn good. There was this massive perspective change where you went from a third-person fox to being actually in first person. It kept me guessing the whole time, and I actually really liked that. I went through like 5 theories while playing this game of what was going on. Right at the end of the third act, also known as the climax, there was something that I've never seen in any game before. It was really interesting, and I hope to see it in more games. Anyways, just like any game, there is some problems with it. However, these are just strictly mechanical problems that are pretty small. Anyone that's not really nitpicking the game will just probably glance right over them. But they are still there. Now, the fox that you play as moves pretty awkwardly. Like, not controls badly, but it looks like he's missing some animation. Like, when he's turning around, he does this, like, weird, giant arc turning around. It doesn't have, like, an animation of him actually, like, turning his head and moving in that direction like an animal would. It more looks like he's walking forward and then just, like, kind of turning around. It's kind of, it's hard to explain, but look at this clip.
One thing that I'm not really liking is this character movement. It looks... One sec, let me lower this a little bit. It looks a little ridiculous. It's like it's focused on her back leg. So instead of it being like moving and you know how you move like for like if you're say like a dog, right? Like you're going to move like with your front first before moving with your back legs and pivoting on your back legs. Like this. Like that's kind of weird. But yeah, you know. It looks
looked high and low, searching for any sign of her cubs.
There was also a mechanic using butterflies to jump higher. You could stack the butterflies, and I actually really enjoyed that. I just wish that there was more of it in the game. It'd be cool to have more puzzles. I mean, I get that it's supposed to be focused on the story, but more puzzles would have been kind of cool. Now, on to the biggest problem with the game, the jumping mechanic. And David probably already knows about this issue. It's probably just something that slipped past him on release day. There's a lot of stuff that goes into creating a game, and I would know. I've been doing it for 10 years now, and I haven't even released anything. Well, what's wrong with the jumping? The double jumping mechanic is super sloppy. Like, half the time it works, half the time it doesn't work. There are these little jumping puzzles that require some precision jumping, and not precision jumping in regards to, like, say, Super Meat Boy, but precision jumping as in my character doesn't control properly. It took me around 10 or so tries to finish jumping up here to get this obsidian block, which is kind of ridiculous in my opinion. I would go to jump, and then my second jump would just not happen, and I would fall through the world. You can actually see it right here.
Okay. Line it up. Jump. Oh, I got through that on one single jump. Like, the game just decided, you know what? This whole fucking section, you know, the whole section that I wanted to go to, fuck it. I'm kidding, I'm going back there. This is probably better with a controller. I don't know if it fucking works with a bloody controller because fuck, I can't even bloody jump.
Other than those slight problems, the game was a masterpiece. I actually really enjoyed it, and you can get it right now for only $8, and I totally recommend you guys to go and purchase that for sure. For all of those reasons, I'm gonna have to give it an 8 out of 10. Now, the only reason that I'm dropping this from, say, a 10 out of 10 down to an 8 out of 10 is the jumping mechanic. It was super frustrating. Another reason was the giant brick wall that hits you of information that wasn't really set up properly. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this episode of Indie Reviews. It was actually only supposed to be an Indie Picks episode, but this game actually just launched today and I just got word of it, so I had to do it. And David, if you are watching this video, I want to personally congratulate you on releasing your first indie game. You're an inspiration to myself and all of our peers. Also, again, guys, if you do want to watch these videos live, you can go to twitch.tv/IndieCriticShow, where I play all of these games that are on the channel live. Thanks for watching this episode of Indie Reviews, and I will see you all on Sunday for the return of the Indie Critic. It's time for some spicy memes.